hit up the Wiki bartenders on the way out the door and give them their tips 20% or more. 22% probably would even be better. Hell, give them 40% tip. They really like that. Let's see. What else? No bounty hunters, no droids, Jedi, scoundrels, princesses welcome, and no Mary Sues. Okay. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about, so today, my previous upload this afternoon was a story about Daisy Ridley. She's doing a skyscraper movie where she's playing a military veteran who's a howdy, just some other guy, who's a window cleaner, who ends up helping rescue a bunch of people from eco-terrorists, but she also takes down the big bad energy companies, the oil like Exxon and whatever. Hey, Dreadnade, how you doing? This sounds really stupid, but again, she's kind of playing a role that kind of fits her ability of being really not a very good actress. Okay, anyway, hey, Cross. So we've got that. So what does it mean? Well, let's go into, all right, just what we know from the last few weeks. Leslie Headland has Knight's Edge. We've got Stephen Knight working on a bio of William Shakespeare with his wife's production company. And I'm going to say that they've got stuff they're doing. These people are, because The Acolyte's not going to happen, and neither is the Ray movie. Look, first off, the strike has given, I think, a lot of power to Disney to decide what they want to do. Okay. Second of all, if some of these people, like on the story group and at Disney who've caused trouble, have a force majeure in their contracts, like Ava, whatever her name is, at Warner Brothers, I'm pretty sure that they can be fired. So, we haven't heard anything about the Acolyte lawsuit, and I think one of the head of Hoppers, the Hyena Trio, is saying that the Ray movie's delayed. The Ray movie's not happening. It's just not happening. We've got Pablo Hidalgo insisting that he really isn't an important part of Lucasfilm, yet, he shows up on stage at, Celebration with Kennedy, and what I love about this is that he's rewriting his history, and you can't do that. All right, I mean, the truth will out, for fuck's sake. So there's a lot of shit going down, and we haven't heard from Sparrow in a while, and I think that's because we've got the Cannes Film Festival. Indy 5 is going to go, and that's going to be a premiere for it there. And then, of course, the world premiere, I think, probably in London, which will be huge. And we'll start to actually hear real spoilers. Okay, we'll start to hear a lot of stuff coming out. So we'll be able to gauge where it's going to be, in the end of this. And we'll be able to see if it's actually even going to make $1 billion, which sadly, I don't think it will. Even if Harrison Ford is still a box office draw for people. It is what it is, so we'll have to see that. But what I think, hey Parabellum, how is Headland running her mouth? She has not said a word in weeks, so I don't know where you're getting that from. You know, please don't just say stuff off the top of your head. She's not running her. Where? Context. And if you're hearing that from the hyena pack, no, she's not. Okay? God, just, I don't want to hear about it. We haven't heard anything about any of this for a long time. And from what I can tell, I really think that the lawsuit has shut any real discussion about that show down. There hasn't been a settlement yet. Nothing's been reached. Hi, Kojak. Come here. Come here. Come here. Right here. Good boy. And you know, hi, buddy. He's a very good boy. You know, so I think the lawsuits probably really kind of shut them out. Well, I didn't see her say anything, and I mean, I scan the trades. She hasn't shown up on recent IMDb Pro search. To me, that just sounds like the Black Pills are making shit up. Okay, which is par for the course. You know, and you gotta understand, they're saying that to get you to watch their shows. They don't care if it's true or not. Oh, you're bringing them up? Don't bring them up anymore, Mike. Those two guys are trolls. That's all they are. They're fucking trolls. They're upset because they got called out about Boba Fett and they were wrong about it. And they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, right? This has nothing to do with Star Wars anymore for them. It's about money, all right? I mean, gotta keep up. Well, my thing is, you know, look at all of the fan sites. I keep up with the trades, and I haven't heard a word. So it sounds to me that she didn't say anything, you know. And Cross is right about that too, by the way. You know, it's I'm done with them. I don't want to hear about it. It ceased being about Star Wars. It ceased doing the right thing, you know. And I'm sorry, but I just can't. Oh, they hated it. It ruined Boba Fett. You know, this comes from the attitude of, I play way too many video games. And I've watched, you know, the, you know, whatever. I've watched way too much Marvel. Part of the problem with the fandom is that a lot of people who claim to be Star Wars fans have never seen Clone Wars. So they don't understand that part of Star Wars. So they hated Kenobi. Okay. They don't understand the lore surrounding Boba Fett and the Mandalorians because they didn't watch Clone Wars. Okay. And they don't have an attention span anymore. Okay. If you took the original Star Wars out right now, the theatrical release, and they'd never seen it before, they would hate it. Leia would be a bitch. Han and Luke would be cucked, even though they weren't. There you go. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. I don't know, you know, I'd heard someplace, that playing video games, I'm not trying to cut down on people who do that, but playing video games actually numbs brain synapses or something. You know, so there's that. And so when I hear people screaming about, you know, he wasn't tough and he was a cook and all that, you know, that's not real. It's not a real criticism. You know, he tracked the Falcon for 40 days, realized where they were going, and got to Cloud City ahead of Han and Leia and Chewie, and got the Empire there. Okay, that's what he did. Wow. Did he board the Falcon like a ninja? No, he didn't. You know, I mean, you know, so that's it's not even a criticism. It's like, you really didn't watch Star Wars, did you? You know, and again, like I said, a lot of this stuff has ceased being about Star Wars. Now, talk about Daisy Ridley in this new movie. It's a British movie, so it's not going to be hampered by the strike. And there you go. Okay, there. I mean, she'll be able to make this one. When you look at Knight's Edge, when you look at The Acolyte, I don't think those shows are. First off, The Acolyte's a sizzle reel. That's it. And Knight's Edge, Hedlund can't work on it. She'll be violating her WGA agreement if she does, because she's one of the writers for it. Okay, and like Tony Gilroy had to walk off the set of Andor, and it makes me wonder if they can actually finish making the second and last season of that. Okay, it's really interesting to me seeing how this is all playing out, because it doesn't fit into the narrative of the Black Pill. Like, I wanted to talk about today, Geeks and Gamers, Jeremy decided to puke out that Rian Johnson still may have his sequel trilogy, his trilogy. Disney basically said it was never happening. Rian Johnson basically said it was never happening. You know, this is clickbait crap. They know it's not happening, but I guarantee you, Jeremy gets at least 20 or 30,000 views or more. Okay, because people just that it's not about putting information out there that's useful. It's about garnering a reaction. Okay, and it's not real. Yeah, they canned it a few months ago. So the idea, I mean, Kathleen Kennedy, you know, with her delusional bullshit. Look, Indy 5 is going to tell us if she gets her bonus or not on the way out the door. Okay, that's what that is. And, you know, she can go anywhere and spew a bunch of nonsense, but really it's like Disney's got to okay it, and they canned that. Okay, and after Disney's, and look, here's something Black Pills never take into account. I mean, even on channels that aren't black pilling, they will talk about the earnings call and how bad it was, but they'll go right back and saying this is happening and this is happening and this is happening. You just said Disney is starving for money. They're pulling content off of Disney Plus, and they're basically canceling projects. And they're still doing this? What kind of twisted pretzel logic is this? Okay, no, that's not what's happening. What article from the Direct? The Direct is friends with Jason Ward. It's clickbait, okay? Who fucking cares? Well, it's like, look, you can't talk about the company and where it is with the financial, it's like it doesn't matter. It's like Lucasfilm is its own separate branch that can take money that it earned itself. It's like it's not even part of Disney. It's like, what? I don't understand how someone can conclude after Christine McCarthy said, she's the CFO, said we are taking content off of Disney Plus. And guys, this will never happen. But if it does, I would just put an hour-long video of me laughing my ass off. If they pull the sequel trilogy off of Disney Plus, I will just post a video of me laughing my ass off. Now, they're not going to. But if they did, I would do it. Anyway, what I just don't understand why they can't see what's happening. And I know I don't understand why, they don't see the big picture. All right. They don't understand that the earnings call on Wednesday affected everything at Disney. Okay. We're still not done with the layoffs. There are more coming till about the 21st of June. So we've got another like 5 weeks. And there you go. Okay. Oh, I would too, Mike. And I want to say this about Solo. Watching it made me laugh. So I had to watch it drunk. There's no way I could have watched it sober because I would have been like despairing. Okay. Alden Ehrenreich was the worst possible person they could use for that role of Han Solo. Okay. There I said it, and I'm glad. Okay. That was a stupid casting from the start. And I'm absolutely mortified by it. I've never... It's ING, but you're close, Cross. I'm glad he wasn't in the movie because it was a bad movie. It really, like I said when I did my review, they made Han less than he should have been. If we're talking about redemption, there should be a redemption arc for Han that isn't this is an exercise I have to do. There needs to be a redemption arc for Han Solo. Okay. And Solo's Star Wars story isn't the place to start. Han, look, first off, this is one of my favorite things. The plot point just absolutely made me go, fuck. He insists he's a great pilot. We never see him fly until he finally gets until they have to run away from Kessel. Okay? There should be, you got, the thing about movies is you show it, you don't say it. So why didn't they start out with an action scene? Pirates, group of TIE fighters going after him. A guy gets in trouble. Another TIE fighter comes out and knocks like 5 of the pirates out of the sky, like boom, gone. Okay. Han Solo. Okay. He like wins the Blood Stripe or something like that. And then the next thing you see is he's in a different command, flying protection for a space station that had Wookiee slaves doing reclamation work on old ships or something like that. And it's a really bad place. And we get the idea that Han is starting to realize that the Empire sucks. Okay, he doesn't believe in slavery, and he understands Shrewd because he had, you know, Wookiees around him when he was a kid. Do they have? Does he have to have somebody like Dulana around? Maybe that would help. But you could make that something to where when he sees what's going on with, do you guys hear that? My husband's doing something out in the garage. When he sees Chewbacca getting abused, he decides to act. And he sacrifices his career, which is really going places, to save a Wookiee. And he gets dishonorably discharged, and he's thrown basically into the universe with no means of help. Okay, because, you know, you could have, how about Lieutenant Commander Piet, his mentor, say, you know, you're the best pilot I ever commanded. You disappointed me greatly. I can't help you. Give him a bunch of money to get off Coruscant to leave. Chewie teams up with them, and they go off, and Han ends up going to Nar Shaddaa, not because he really wants to be a smuggler, but that's all he's got. He can't get real work because of the mark against his name. Another thing, the naming thing. I don't have anybody. I'm with nobody, whatever he said. First off, it goes against lore. Solo is a Corellian name. It's a family name. Okay, so already it's stupid. Second of all, it's a lazy fucking way of giving him a name that he already had. Okay, there's something, what they tried to do is something cute and artsy with it. He took the name because, well, he's just one person, and that's the way he wants to be. No, that's not why George gave him that name. George gave him that name because that was his family name. That's who he is. Okay, he wasn't given it by the Empire. All right, you know, and it meant something. Now, they acknowledge that it means something, but what they did was so stupid and lazy and devoid of logic and intellectualism that it can't be quantified. It's like, okay, so there's that. And Bob Iger basically did out that plot point. Solo isn't really his last name. When I heard that, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, then we have, you know, LL37 and that soliloquy about Lando having feelings for her, which, I mean, LL37 goes against basic droid lore. It really did. Droids are made to serve people. Okay, period. That's what George basically had C-3PO say. All right, I serve at the pleasure of the princess. Okay. R2-D2 is there as a helper and a keeper of secrets, but he's not. They think independently, but they're not to the point where they're, I mean, basically, LL37's nothing but a pain in the ass activist bitch. That's what she is. She's not. I'm watching that scene between her and toothy, skinny, and I'm like, you know, it's awful. I mean, and it degrades Lando Calrissian, okay, but in the face of, Ethan Van Sciver did a video about Kathleen Kennedy's delusional statement. Probably came from Empire magazine that yeah, and that's and Mike is right. They have complex AI personalities, but they don't have free will. And LL37 is free will, and it's like that's bullshit. That's not the way the droids are supposed to be. Okay, and basically, Ethan was talking about the Rian Johnson trilogy, and I'm like, this shit started with him, Rian Johnson. Okay, this shit started with completely taking the lore that George had created and flipping it over, subverting expectations. And it's like, your customer base is going to get pissed and this doesn't make any sense. It's like, imagine my iPhone right here, my Mac PowerBook, suddenly deciding it had free will and it wanted equal rights. That's what this is. All right? Like, they're not sentient beings. The dog is. I do believe dogs and horses have souls. Maybe cats do too, but cats have black souls. But dogs and horses are, in my opinion, sentient beings. All right, that's just my belief. An electronic gadget, which a droid is not a sentient being. Okay, maybe somebody watched too much Transformers. Okay, I don't know, but that was really stupid. And of course, Pando Lando. All right, what? What else? Beckett, Woody Harrelson was not a mentor. I mean, that whole thing was like, he was just some rando dude. I'm like, yeah, it was. It was more like, Star Trek in that respect than it was Star Wars. Okay, but Beckett, was just some rando guy. And Han shooting him at the end, did that make any sense at all? No. What else? I'm thinking right now. I can't go. There's so much about that movie that was so bad. And of course, I hate Amelia Clark. I hate her. Okay. Every time you see her smile, she's just absolutely scary looking. Yeah. And just some other guy is right. See, the thing people worry about AI is that it will learn enough. It'll watch this guy, Mike. It'll start learning on its own and start coming up with its own, well, look, Enfys Nest. First off, that's not a Star Wars name. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Little black girl with red hair. She could play the Little Mermaid. Which what a lovely Danish redhead. Said no one ever. that whole thing with coaxium. Look, Star Wars wasn't worried about fuel until this stupid fucking movie, and until TLJ. I mean, I thought they had reactors. I thought that's how they went from place to place, which, you know, doesn't necessarily require fuel the way they were talking about it. The way they talk about it now in this gay ass canon. Okay. And I'm like, what the fuck? And of course, you know, the speech that girl gives, it's like, oh God, gag. Again, instead of having Quira have Han rescue Bria Theron, okay, and, or what I would have done, have him run into Bria as a rebel now, helping and spying for the rebellion on this Grand Admiral like she was in the Hutt Gambit, okay? And basically, I'd rather see a betrayed Han Solo, because you're not the guy in Solo. A Star Wars story has nothing to do with who he met in A New Hope. That guy didn't trust a soul. Nobody. Why? We should have gone from the young idealistic guy who does the right thing and gets abused by the system for it, saving Chewbacca, and ends up doing the only thing he could do, which is be a smuggler, a mercenary, and a pirate. And he becomes very well known and very respected for his talents as a pilot and as a mercenary, etc. Okay, we didn't need this doofus. The doofusization, the doofusization of Han Solo. That's what the show could have been called. It's horrible, just horrible. You know, and if they, you know, like they're taking content off of Disney Plus, if they took the sequel trilogy off and of Disney Plus and took Solo off, I'd be laughing. I'd be on the floor laughing. Again, I want to remind you guys, we're not even close to being done with the layoffs that are coming to Disney's companies. They're not, probably for the paycheck. You know, I know you guys are looking for anything to hate Favreau or Filoni for. You're not going to find that here, and black pills aren't welcome. All right. I banned one of them who snuck on to this channel. He stupidly left a comment. I was able to ban him. Okay, you'll get banned. All right. Ask anybody. I do not tolerate that shit. I'm not trying to change people's minds if you're not willing to listen. Okay? All right. The narrative is not what you've been told about what's going on. The black pill channels do not take into consideration the financials of Disney. I listened to the earnings call when I heard there was content going to be taken off of Disney Plus. They are pulling back on how much they make, which means I think that the Rey movie's done. It's not going to happen. And which means that probably the Acolyte's never going to see the light of day either. I mean, you know, I'm sorry to tell you that, but I'm looking at what Bob Iger and the CFO, Christine McCarthy, said. Don't give a fuck what Jason Ward says. I don't give a fuck what Star Wars Direct says. I don't care. All right? I don't care what the janitor on the third floor of, you know, the Burbank Studios has to say. They don't know what's going on. No, look, she's deluded. That's what's going on here. Look, when she announced those movies and Matt Bellany was the first one to point fingers and do ha ha at her, there you go. Okay. Like within a week, Headland is going to a different TV show. Then literally that same night, Stephen Knight is announced writing a Shakespeare biopic and or TV show, and Star Wars is not mentioned on either article. And now we got Daisy Ridley. Star Wars is mentioned that's what made her famous, and that's it. The Rey movie is not mentioned at all. Okay, think about it. I want you to think about it. It's what is omitted is what's most important. Okay. And I mean, look. Well, she wasn't acting tough. She was having a temper tantrum. And look, again, we haven't seen the end of the layoffs, okay? And if anybody on the list is part of the force majeure, and a lot of these people are producers, okay? A lot of these people like Carrie Beck, etc., are producers, okay? They could be removed, all right? I mean, look, Disney could just say, whatever your contract by, okay? And they're the ones, to me, what looks like to me from what Sparrow has said in the past is that Disney has effectively taken over HR for Lucasfilm, all right? Because they've had to. And she didn't appear strong. She appeared stupid. She didn't appear strong at all. I don't know why you're thinking that. I mean, she could be pretending, but it was a temper tantrum. That's what it was. I mean, it's just a crazy, bat crap crazy temper tantrum. Okay, that's what it was. And there you go. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about this. It's been really super quiet, and I really think the strike has kind of slowed down news about anything we're concerned about. And it's, look, at this point, after listening to the earnings call, Iger is stuck. He can't really do anything but fire people, cut back on content, and rebudget things. He has to, okay? Because the investors are sick and tired. I mean, look, the shares went up 99%, 99 cents per share, okay? Cannes starts on next Wednesday, the 16th. So get ready, because that's what I think we'll get a lot of interesting news, mostly about Indiana Jones 5. We'll get spoilers. We'll have to say, and trust me, if they're even decent spoilers, the black pills will shit all over it. No money in liking something. Okay. What we may hear about Star Wars, but I'm going to say this. I don't think that we're going to hear about Lucasfilm layoffs until towards the end of May. And then we'll probably get quite a few of them. Again, what I would do if I was Iger is I would take away Kennedy's flying monkeys. I'd fire Carrie Beck. I'd fire Janet Lewin. I'd get rid of quite a few of those people. So she's stuck. Okay, so she's by herself. Lin-Wen Brennan. Okay. So she doesn't have a choice. She has to leave. Okay. And I think maybe that might happen. You know, put her in a position where she can't do anything, where she's stuck. Yes, yeah, and that's what I would do. And you know, maybe he'll do it. I don't know. You know, look, Cameron said, "Oh, I think he has been cut off." You know, I really do. And of course, you've got Pablo on Twitter insisting he's not the big, powerful dude that he was in 2015. Maybe he's not anymore, but he was back then. Walking out onto the stage with Kathleen Kennedy. You know, it's like, look, Pablo, you know that maybe that was his one attempt, but at being somebody at Lucasfilm. But it's almost sickening the way he tries to hide. And the thing about it is this, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. For almost 10 years, the fans on the internet were treated like garbage by him. And whether he liked it or not, he was the face of Lucasfilm that was basically front and center. Not Kathleen Kennedy, not Lynn Winbrennan, not Leland Shee. It was Pablo. Okay, you guys all remember that. All right. He was the one on Twitter. He was the one attacking the fans with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Ryan Johnson. All right. His wife, too. All right. So, you know, and now he's acting like he had nothing to do with it. And that's not the point. Here's the point. The point is, you were part of driving the fans away. Okay, they knew goddamn well no one would like The Last Jedi, and they knew goddamn well that people would be pissed off after they thought about The Force Awakens for a few days. Okay, and they, instead of saying, "We're sorry, we'll do better," like JJ tried to, I'll give him props for that. They basically, yes, he did. They basically told us to fuck off. It's not your Star Wars anymore. You're telling hundreds of millions of people with billions of dollars to burn that we don't count. That is going to affect Bob Iger and the board of directors. Okay, how do you think they are going to feel? Because let me tell you this, they saw what he was doing. Emotions are not for sharing. And went, enough. Again, Pablo doesn't have to be the senior vice president at Lucasfilm to make Lucasfilm look like shit. All he has to do is say Lucasfilm Story Group executive at Lucasfilm, get on Twitter and start attacking people. That's all. And that's what he did. What is done in my name reflects upon me. Okay? That's it. And that's what happened. And, you know, I don't know what his status is anymore. I don't care. But the fact of the matter is that he, as Obi-Wan said to Anakin, you have done that yourself. Okay? Stop trying to pretend that you weren't part of it. Okay? Because you were. All you had to do was stay off Twitter and leave the fans alone. If the fans are pissed off about something, you should have known why. And you should have said, hey, we need to fix this. They're pissed off. Or maybe when Ryan was writing his stupid fucking script, I don't think we should present Luke like this. The fans are going to get pissed. I think we need to listen to Mark. You know? Well, you know, we don't know. It's your Snoke theory sucks. Because everybody wanted to know who Snoke was. Okay. And, I mean, Star Wars fans are going to speculate about and theorize about movies and the plots of movies. And that generated a lot of publicity for Lucasfilm, for the franchise. And, I don't, me, if I'd have been Kathleen, I'd have said, they're going to talk about it. Leave them alone. Yeah, and it was just an attack on the fans, just like emotions aren't for sharing was an attack on the fans. Okay. All right. And now, in my opinion, it looks like Lucasfilm is going to be decimated for the behavior of quite a few of their employees. And what scares me is there might be some good people just, carpet bombed by Disney too. All right. Again, what I think they're going to do is, like with Freeform and ABC, they're going to bring both studios into kind of like one house with a split down the middle. So Star Wars is Star Wars, Marvel is Marvel. But so if they're slowing down production and content creation, one person can basically sit atop and balance both out. And really, I think Jon Favreau would be the perfect person to do it. Dave Filoni answers to him, and whoever is at Marvel, Kevin Feige answers to him. All right, because that's how I would do it. All right, then you can get rid of the story group. Then you can get rid of like that woman whose name was on the blue stocking shell company application. She is a this is great. I hope can you guys hear me? Put a one in the chat. She's a lawyer. She works at Lucasfilm. She does business for them. And she basically, I think she should go too. That's just me. Okay, good. You guys can hear me. All right. Well, I'm gonna rock anyway. I'm sorry, Kurt. I gotta go. I need to place up my kitchen a little bit before we go to the Friday wine tasting over at the State Store. I always tell people, Conrad said, this is gonna come like a thief in the night. We won't expect it. All right, we won't expect it. And it's going to shake, I think, YouTube to the core when it happens. All right. Anyway, I got to rock and roll. Here's Kojak. Say hi, Kojak. There's Koji Bear. Come here. Come on. No, it's Rima basically puts out like 4 wines from one region. And you only get a little bit. So it's like having a half a glass, and hubby's driving. So, there you go. There you go. I don't have to worry about it. But I usually get something nice to bring home. I've got really good stuff down in the basement that I've hidden. Keeping it away from people that come over that look at it and go, can't we drink this? It's like, no. Why? That's $100 bottle of Chateau Neuf de Pop. No! It's no, all right? That's for Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve, for crying out loud. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Again, anything happens, I'll be back.